The portal is popping for basketball and football. Let's talk about it.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. I got my man, Zach Blackerby, in here tonight.
Yes.
And the portal has been outrageous the last 4 or 5 days. Zach, it's been hard to keep up. It's been really
it's a lot. Every time I pull up Twitter, it's like, oh, something else is happening. It's been so fun.
Yeah, even had some big Easter surprises. Today, I don't want to necessarily say surprises, but regardless, we got some commitments. We got all kind of stuff to talk about basketball, and then the unique challenges that I think each sport has had, each head coach has had, and how they've somewhat, at least up until this point, overcome those. We're going to talk about all that in just a second, but before we get started, got to give a quick shout out to Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Go to UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com, use coupon code TheBarn30 for 30% off. Bumped it up a little bit for the rest of the month. If you love sauce and you want to try it with a little Southern kick, give it a shot. If you live in town and you live close to a Publix in the state of Alabama, you can try it there. If not, go online, save big, buy in bulk. Just go ahead and buy you a case. Red top, black top, get a little bit of both. You're going to love it. Uncle Keith's Red Sauce.
The spicy is spicy. The spicy is spicy.
It's as advertised. Zach, man, again, it's been hard to keep up, but basketball has just about finished off the whole roster, the most recent addition. I think we're all incredibly excited about. Very intriguing prospect. We may go through the whole roster, but the most recent one, Elijah Freeman from, what was it, like Lincoln Memorial University or
LMU.
Something similar. A 6'8". Bruce called him a big guard. I was honestly expecting him to probably be like another 4, like another option at 4, but the way it sounds is like he's probably going to be more of a 3, more of a big guard. I love everything about this addition, the multiple years, the size, the late bloomer aspect of it. What do you think about Elijah Freeman?
I mean, Bruce Pearl's track record with this type of project of a player is pretty good up to this point. And I think Elijah checks a lot of those boxes off of what Bruce Pearl tends to go after. Just raw athleticism, raw length, raw size. And then he also was an effective scorer inside and out. I mean, shot like 40-something% from 3 as a guy with that size. I don't care if it's D2. I don't care if it's against air. A lot of those guys wouldn't be able to pull that off. So I love that. I hope he's used as the 4. If he's used as like, a big guard, which screams 3, right? And I think he could play the 3 and the 4, which seems to be kind of a theme with this roster, is they can kind of, the versatility, especially on the defensive side of the floor, you love. But I think they need, I'd love another big man. I think they need one more big man, and I would feel significantly better about where all the pieces fall with this roster.
I want to talk about that a little bit more because I see that there was somebody in the comments too. Alex Feldner said maybe one more big guy.
I agree. Alex.
Talk me through that. Talk me through. So you got Keyshawn Murphy, and you added your big guy, your big JUCO 7-footer, who I don't know exactly what to expect from him this year, but talk me through another big guy. So go ahead.
I mean, I think that's kind of my dilemma with this. Like, I love the upside of what Auburn has. Do you have the JUCO's name? I don't want to say just the JUCO guy, and I'm totally blanking.
I know his last name's Apurum.
So like, as we talk about like Apurum, 7-footer, like that's exciting. And he's raw, and he hasn't been playing basketball that long. Like, I love all of that. But that screams like you're probably not going to play a ton your first year in the toughest conference in college basketball. And so to me, it's like, do we feel good with that being your backup 5? I don't know. Like we need to see. And like maybe he hits the ground running and maybe the growing pains are worth it. But I don't love that situation for this year. I love it for the following year. I love it as far as him developing. You know, we talked about this with Elijah Freeman to some extent too. Like I love the development and the upside and just the raw ability and talent and size and length that he's brought in with some of these guys. But as far as bringing in another big man, like that's it. I've got questions about that. And then I've got questions about Kieran Murphy, which I think he's fine. I think he's fine, but like I'm not as high on him as a lot of other Auburn folks are. And part of that is a me issue as far as I'm having a hard time adjusting mentally as far as like the team build is going to be so much different.
I agree.
You know, instead of going inside out, they're getting a lot of guys who can score from the wing and attack the rim. It's like you don't need a shooter at the 5 as much, I think, with this style of team that we're all assuming Bruce Pearl's putting together. And so like that might just be a philosophy block that I've got in my brain. But that's my thought process when I say that.
So how many minutes becomes uncomfortable to you? It's Emeka Opiram. How many minutes does he play in a game to where you're like, we're in a bind if he plays more than X amount of minutes? I mean, that may be a tough question to answer.
That is a tough question. My gut says 15, but I don't like that answer. I don't feel confident with that answer, but just for the sake of the conversation, I'll say 15.
Okay. So, I mean, with that being said, that Murphy played roughly 25 minutes a game. I think that minutes per game is going to go up. And again, to your point, we've watched 3 years of an offense kind of run one way, and I think it's going to be incredibly different this year. But I think if Murphy can play 28 to 30 minutes a game, and I want to correct the Mississippi State guy that came on your show. He talked about how Murphy kind of got silly fouls, and I looked at his per 40 fouls per 40 minutes, and it was only like 3. So he's actually a pretty solid defender without fouling. So I don't know that you're going to necessarily have to worry about him in foul trouble. If he can play 30 minutes a game, can you get 10 minutes from the 7-footer and be okay? 10 or 12 minutes a game from the 7-footer and be okay? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I
mean, it doesn't seem like a stretch, right?
Sure.
That doesn't seem crazy.
It doesn't to me.
Just think though, gosh, people don't like it when I say this, but like, I think we're past that.
Past what?
I think we should be past this whole, like, let's wait and see. Like, I mean, this is a program that just went to the Final Four. I mean, Bruce Pearl continues to win championships at Auburn at the SEC level, the 2 Final Fours. Like, not many people can ask or can offer that. And it seems like we're pretty competitive on the NIL front. Like, I just think we should be past the point of having these types of questions, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to pose a question to you, and I'm going to kind of address this question, right? This comment from Matt Mixon. We're coming off a Final Four run, and we are replacing those players with JUCO and D2 guys. Okay, so last year's team, not this past year, but last year's team, if Chad doesn't get ejected in the first game, how far does that team go?
Could have gone as far as the Elite Eight or the 5. I mean, they were hot. They were red hot. Sure.
What was a big makeup of that team that you just added as new additions? A
JUCO from the roster standpoint. Yeah.
A JUCO and D2 guys. Okay. Right. So the one thing that we have to understand is these guys know how to identify talent, and they know how to pick out guys that they think they can get more out of and make big moves and make big, jumps in what they can, those actual players can achieve. But overall, I like what we've done so far. This is what I think. This is what I would like to see. I'm concerned about what happens when Tahad Pedford comes off the court. Who plays backup point? Do you just run it with Caden Magwood? Do you try to bring in another 2 guard? I think there's a couple of folks that they've they may have their eye on trying to make a move on if they were to jump in the portal or things like that. That to me is a much bigger concern because I'm looking at this roster and it looking similar to teams of past, where you have, I think Keyshawn Murphy is going to be a lot more like a better version of, Austin Wiley or Anthony McLemore, like somebody that's, going to be a bouncy guy, that's going to be a good defender, that's going to be there to put it back and make big rebounds and play good defense. And then you're going to have a bunch of really athletic guards. I love the idea of Hall playing 4, even if we're small.
Like, it's going to present some problems for folks. I mean, some people aren't going to have the personnel to deal with that. For sure.
A lot of spacing. I said before we started, I said that I felt like both squads, football and basketball, have overcome some unique obstacles. And basketball, to me, has been really impressive. There's tons of playing time to sell, okay? Yeah. But there's also a ton of needs that have to be filled. I mean, we made fun of Baylor. Baylor returned literally 0 guys. They lost their whole team.
Right.
And then you look at it, and at the end of the day, we all assume Tahad's coming back. If Tahad comes back, that's basically the only guy you return. The whole team is new. So you had to fill all those needs, and to be able to do that. And I'm sure Auburn's not at the very, very elite of the elite as far as NIL goes. I do think they're very, very competitive, but to be able to stretch that out as far as it goes, I think they've done a pretty good job so far overcoming that, and I can't wait to see.
Do you think they have more in NIL, but they're waiting to see what happens with Tahad, or do you think they're acting as if Tahad is not going to go to the draft?
I think they're acting as if Tahad's coming back, personally. But I will say this: Bruce, to me, is not a. He's just never been. I don't think he's ever been a bidding war or it's going to be all about money type of guy. I just don't think
I agree
that's ever been the case. It feels like we get everybody on a discount and we get really good players on a discount because he's looking for guys that want to buy in and do things his way. And I just think he's very judicious with how they handle. I think they're all very judicious with how they use NIL, and it's not just go out there and blow bags. Everybody's fawning over Kentucky spending a ton of money, and it may work out, but I don't think spending automatically equals success.
No, right. And I mean, BYU's dropped a lot of money on a handful of players too, and it's like, we'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. And another thing, and I just want to make sure, like, there seems to be this for the folks who are upset with this basketball roster reconstruction, about this narrative of like, well, all Bruce does is get, D2 and JUCO guys. And he went and got, a very versatile player from a very good program of Texas Tech, and with Kevin Overton, who is versatile and a solid defender. And then he went out and got the guy who led the Big 12 in points per game last year. So, I mean, it's not like they're all lottery picks. I mean, he's getting proven commodities. So, I do think, I do think there are some inconsistencies, and I might be guilty to that to some extent, but I do think there are some inconsistencies with how this roster reconstruction has been discussed.
Sure. And now, don't get me wrong, if for some reason that the big man from Central Florida, the center, I can't think of his name, it's Mustafa something. If he decides he wants to come to Auburn, I would say bring him on and let's figure out what to do with Keyshawn. Does he play more 4? I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, do we look at that? Regardless, I'm not going to turn down a big man, but I think I'm more worried about what do we do if Todd comes off the court than I am necessarily the big man. So
that's interesting. Like, I feel fine with Magwood there. Really? So yeah. So we got different opinions on that.
I guess it's the same. Well, when I really think about it, I guess it's the same argument I just posed to you about the 7-footer. I mean, can Caden Magwood play 10 minutes a game?
I think he can.
And I think he can too. It's one of those, it's kind of what you said though. Why do we have to just hope, I guess? I want to have something more proven. I guess we're kind of on both sides of the fence on, both of these arguments. But regardless,
Well, I mean, I think that's only the case though, is if we like totally abandon playing freshmen, right? I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think that's good for the game. I don't think it's good for like the, building your program and all of that. So, and that's just part of it. Like, you're going to bring in talented freshmen, and you're going to have to ask them to play right away. And, sometimes you get burned. Sometimes it's Chance Westry or, that's Traore and, those guys. But like, I'm okay with Magwood, at least on paper, being the backup too. Also wonder if could Overton bring it down the floor in a pinch situation if you really needed him to, or, I think they're going to have no shortage of combo guards. So, I mean, surely they can find somebody who can bring it down the floor in a pinch if they need to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I the more I think about it, though, I'm like you, man. Maybe you got to let some of these freshmen play. So they say there's going to add at least one more. We'll see what it's going to be.
If you had to guess, what position is it? Live chat, let us know what you think it is too.
What would you like it to be? Live chat.
I want it to be a center.
Yeah, you want it to be a center.
I want it to be a center.
I don't really know. I'll take another freaky big guy that can play, that can run and shoot. How about that? Just give me another 6'8" guy that can shoot threes, and I'll be happy. No, yeah. I think you may need another 2 guard that can play point in a pinch, maybe.
That would make sense.
That's kind of what I would go with.
That would make sense.
I want to switch gears to football here in just a second, but before we do that, I got to give a quick shout out to mybookie.ag. Go to mybookie.ag, use coupon code BARN, BARN, for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Free play to go hit the sports book up. You can bet lines any way you can possibly imagine. Tons of sporting events going on right now. So check them out. Show them some love. It's mybookie.ag. Let's switch it to football, Zach. We talked about unique challenges. Hughes had a really unique challenge, in my opinion. It's selling guys to come and be backups, basically, which is
fascinating,
which is typically what people go into the portal to get away from, is to be not be a backup anymore. And I think that's a fun spot to be in, where you feel really good about your starters, that you're just trying to find depth pieces. You picked up Jay Hardy today. Jay Hardy returns to Auburn, which is, I guess, the first one for Auburn. This is pretty rare in general, but that a guy leaves a school and then comes back to him in the transfer portal. So 6'3", 310-pound defensive lineman. It's kind of exactly what we needed. And then you also pick up who else we pick up, Zach? The veteran linebacker that
Caleb Wheatland. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was kind of picky in what we were asking for. And we said, is like, if you could clone Dorian Mausi from last year and get another one of those, like, we'd all take him in a heartbeat. I don't think he's quite there, but it's pretty similar. I mean, we asked for a guy with 1 year left of eligibility, a guy with P4 playing experience. He did it at Maryland, played in the second best conference in football. And over the last 3 seasons, he played 881 snaps on defense. It's like,
experience.
You take that. Is he exceptional at any specific thing? I don't think so. I mean, he's a true box linebacker, played most of his snaps in the box, did a few things outside of it. You got to assume he followed either a tight end or a running back out there. But with what we needed, you needed a senior in that room to help lead and to help be a body and to help, mentor and teach some of these young, talented guys that are in that room. I'm totally comfortable with Caleb Wheatland being the linebacker addition this offseason. I thought it was solid. Yeah,
there was one part of your checkbox that I just didn't think it would ever happen, and it's if you add P4 in there. I just never thought that there would be a guy like that had that much experience that would be available.
Yeah,
and like you said, not only did he checked every single box that you had out there. So as far as getting additions, adding a linebacker addition to this room, I think you added probably the best one that you could get that checked every single box. One thing, Zach,
Really happy with it for sure.
One thing that's becoming incredibly clear about this staff is that if a guy visits and Auburn wants him, they're pretty much going to get him. Like they seem to have their ducks in a row on that side in the portal, particularly spring. They did it a lot, obviously in December as well. But man, they've got that part of it figured out. If you see a visit pop up and a guy comes and they want him, more than likely they're going to get him.
Yeah, and I think some of that's just the nature of the portal. I mean, it happens so much faster than like high school recruiting, where you spend 2.5, 3 years with some of these guys developing and fostering these relationships. And a lot of this is business related. You're probably already talking NIL before they get here. You're probably already talking about some of the logistics and the sales pitch as far as, what's asked of me as far as my role in the scheme and the locker room and the depth chart. Like, let's don't waste any time. We'll get to know each other later, but we've got to make some business decisions here. And they've done a pretty good job of getting guys with 1 year left of eligibility ever since they've been here. And I'd like to have a larger conversation about that at some point. We can do that now, or you can do it later if you want, whatever you want, Kyle. But
yeah,
I think so they continue to get guys with 1 year left of eligibility. They've done it since they stepped in here. And we've talked about that, like, okay, well, like these are stopgap positions because we all knew that this staff would continue to recruit the way that they have. But now I'm wondering if that's ever going to change, because, and we'll really learn this next year when, his first class, they're all juniors and upperclassmen and starters. But I just wonder with NIL and with like contracts not being a thing, they're all 1 year contracts. Do you just continue to take grad transfer guys and just hope that you recruit behind them? And all, I'm interested to see if this changes even after the recruiting classes eventually catch up.
I think it's a great question. And you look at some of the different positions. You look at wide receiver, where you got some guys that, you brought them in and they've been able to play. You've got some guys on defense that you've brought in and they've been able to play. I think that once you get 3 or 4 years into this thing, maybe it never goes away completely.
Yeah. But
I just think the way people can jump now until something is remedied to where maybe you can have at least 2 year guaranteed contracts. That term I use, foundational depth, it's going to become harder and harder to build to where there's just that next guy up. In general, it's almost like if they don't play like their first year, you're almost like just look out, they're probably going to be gone. Like it's crazy.
In some places, and for whatever reason, I watched a video today on somebody giving Ryan Day credit about like they don't leave there, and like they don't leave Kirby at Georgia, they don't really leave Lanning at Oregon. And so far, like, they haven't really left Freeze at Auburn. And so like, we say that, and that's like the national talking point of like, if you don't play, you're going to leave. But there are pockets and there are programs that culturally are holding on to these guys. And this window, they've lost some depth, but I don't think it's anybody that they're like too upset about. But I don't know if it's I don't know. It's just interesting how that's impacting some places and not others. And it's not like Auburn has been super successful in the field like those other schools that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I still think you're at least another recruiting class away from being able to sort of wean yourself, not off, because no school will be able to wean yourself completely off, but just maybe get to the point where instead of taking, well, heck, I guess you got to take as many as leave. Like, is there ever going to be a time now where 20 people are not going to leave every single year? It just seems like every single year you're going to have, no matter who it is, you're going to have 20 people, around 20 people leave. I don't know. It's definitely we're just guessing because this thing changes.
You're right.
Changes on a dime. What would you like to see Auburn add left on the defensive side? So far, Hughes, he did his little cryptic thing where in the interview after A-Day where he said, you're never going to turn down a linebacker with experience. Okay, well, you've added
Check.
that guy. You're never going to turn down a good interior defensive lineman. Check.
Maybe more coming.
Maybe more coming. There's some predictions coming in for James Ash from Florida Florida A&M, sorry. I guess he's got 1 year to play, 6'4", 280. I'm not that. Could that be your pass rusher? I don't know. Maybe that's
hope not.
Exactly. And then he said you never turn down a good cover guy. And I think Auburn's got a corner from Tulane coming to visit sometime this week.
That one's tricky to me. That one doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
it doesn't. But then again, you've lost like 3 corners. So you gotta. I guess.
How many years are left on the Tulane guy?
Let's see. His name's Ray Sean. Sorry.
While you're looking that up, like I want to. The edge rusher thing is interesting because, I mean, like we talked about with linebacker, we listed this checklist of linebacker, 1 year left of eligibility, ton of experience. With pass rusher, I don't really care about the experience as much in total reps, but I need 2 years of eligibility. A 1 year guy at edge doesn't make sense for multiple reasons. One, it doesn't fit in with the roster because you've got Kieran Crawford, Chris Murray, Keldrick Falk. Those 3 guys are going to be gone next year, and assuming Keldrick goes to the NFL. And so, like, you can pitch reps, but you can't pitch like you're a starter. And also, they kind of have a model up to this point. You go out and get J-Mac from App State, let him be a dude for a season, then let him be the dude for a season. Meanwhile, you get Kieran Crawford, who has 2 years left of eligibility. Let him be a dude behind J-Mac, then let him be the dude going into this year. I think it kind of allows you to continue to do that. So if they don't have 2 or 3 years left of eligibility, I'd be a little confused if he does get an edge rusher.
No, I'm with you. And then we're not even talking about some of the edge rushers that are still on the roster that you hope could be that J-Mac or that Kieran in the future. So I don't really know what else. I mean, I guess just try to fill some of the spots you lost. We failed to mention that we added Malachi. Is it Harris?
Mm-hmm.
Malachi Harris from Austin Peay. I think he's actually Hezekiah Harris's older brother.
Correct.
Who's one of our big time commits for this 2026 class. So
what do you think? Go ahead. You're going the direction I want you to. Yeah.
You lose Braden Joyner, and I guess that's your, they're sort of the same type player. That's kind of your replacement, I guess.
Yeah, you got to assume Malachi is an interior defensive lineman with his size, and PFF has him at 6'2", 357. Like, that is a big dude. Yeah, that's a big guy.
They're gonna have to reshape some of that, I think.
I would think so, dude. But have you? We haven't talked about this. Have you looked at how they used him at Austin Peay?
No, I haven't.
So I was confused because he doesn't have like any stats or anything recorded, but all the articles I'm reading is like 3 years left of eligibility. I'm like, okay, like what's going on here? And dude, he played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He played in 11 games. He played 65 total snaps, but 49 of them were on special teams.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, 56 were. He played 9 snaps on the offensive line. It was all in one game. And they're like, we're going to burn your red shirt and play you on special teams. Why would they do that to him?
I don't know. I'm still wondering if the red shirt is going to matter in the near future, and if they're just going to go to 5 years.
It might not. But if I'm Malachi Harris, I'm like, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is strange to play the vast majority of your time on special teams. But then again, like how many options does Austin Peay have? You know what I mean? At those type positions.
I don't know. Field goal block. I mean, that's all he did was field goal block and punt.
Field goal block. Well, he's 353.
You need line up on your field goal block.
Can you hit the center? Can you hit the long snapper? Now I can't remember if there's a.
I don't think you can hit him unless he moves his head up, which they don't do. They just kind of keep their head down.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, then, yeah, you put him on. right on top of one of the guards and just blow up the field goal, I guess. Regardless, you filled that hole, and you got to have some more. I'm sure you're going to have some more additions. I don't know. I feel so good about this. I think it's mostly just because I feel good about this roster.
I feel great about it. I feel great about it. There's
I
not
don't
a glaring
really care.
weakness.
There's not really There's not really this gaping hole that I feel like needs to be filled. So like I'm just I'm just on whatever you add. I love the Maryland kid. I love that addition. But
if you had to guess total snaps, I'm not talking about starting or anything like total snaps. Where is Caleb Wheatland in total snaps among linebackers? Who plays more, Wheatland or DeMarcus Riddick?
Riddick.
I agree. Who plays more? This is where I think it gets a little tricky. Who plays more, Wheatland or Robert Woodyard?
I really think Robert Woodyard's going to – I think this is going to be –
so too.
I think he's going to end up being
I think so too.
The guy.
I think so too.
It may split early, but I think Woodyard takes it.
Who plays more, Caleb Wheatland or DJ Barber?
Caleb Wheatland.
I don't know here. I think this is close.
It is close, but I think he does. Close. I think that's why you brought him in.
Yeah, and then they feel so good about Melendez too. It sounds like he was running with the 2 deep pretty consistently in spring. So we'll see. But you needed a senior. They got a senior. He and Woodyard are kind of, I don't know. I think they're pretty similar as far as like what I've seen, which is fine. It's fine. You needed that. So, I don't know. I'm excited about the linebacker room. Did you see how many years left the Tulane corner has?
Yeah, he's got 2. He's a junior. He'll be a junior coming up. Played a fair amount of snaps. It looked like at Tulane. Good size, 6 foot.
Let's talk this through for a second because I haven't really thought about that. You told me about this guy like right before we went on. So you don't have a senior corner. Your current junior corners are Champ Anthony, Can Lee, who I think he'll be good enough to go pro after this year, but we'll see. And Rayon Strader. I think 2 of those 3 guys come back, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think Champ Anthony's great. I don't think he's big enough for the league. I think he's got to come back. So
yeah, and then you're hoping he's actually healthy enough to play too. Like that's something you got to worry about as well.
Yeah,
I think he will be, but just think about this, dude. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, assuming nobody else leaves. 6 total corners on scholarship that are healthy. That's it.
You're not counting Champ Anthony?
No, I did count Champ Anthony.
Okay.
You got K and Lee.
Yep.
Champ Anthony.
Yep.
Jay Crawford, Donovan Starr, Blake Woodby, and Ryan Strader. Devin Williams has a torn ACL.
Okay.
You only got 6. That's it. It's crazy.
That's true.
Especially if you're playing, you're playing a nickel. A lot of times you're playing at least 3 guys, cover guys out there.
That's true.
You don't have a ton.
I mean, that goes back to what this staff is having to do. It's like, we need another corner, maybe. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but it's like we've got 6 that are really good. But we'd love for you to be here too.
And 2 of those 6 are true freshmen. Now they're good, Donovan Starr and Blake Woodby. So like that's another piece of it. So you got 4 guys that have any experience whatsoever returning.
Yeah, right.
And you hope you don't lose, any of those guys too. So that's obviously assuming all of those guys are here after the portal closes. So a lot of action, I think, that's still left to be had. Auburn's still going to look to add players on the football team, and they're still going to look to add at least 1 more. Yeah. Not sure where it's going to come from, but at least 1 more on the basketball squad as well. Bruce likes to run it, not full 13 scholarships. It'll be 11 or 12, and then that 13th goes to a walk-on. That's kind of been his thing. And at this day and age, it's just really hard to have that many scholarship.
I mean, you don't really need them. You don't really need them. That's not really the way to do it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Zach, tell everybody where they can love you, support you, and just be your biggest fan.
Yeah, thebarnauburn.com. We'd love to have you there. Fun conversations going 24/7 with other Auburn fans. So we'd love to have you right now. If you sign up for an annual, If you sign up for an annual membership over at the barn, you save $25. So why not? Why not do it?
Save big.
Why not do it? This is a great time to sign up. We're about to get into more recruiting, obviously the portal stuff. And then, we'll talk to players during, summer workouts and get those notes in there. So it'll be fun.
Absolutely. We'll be back every single day this week. So jump in, hit that alert bell, subscribe, hit that alert bell. There's going to be all kind of content. Baseball, there's going to be some basketball. Zepp and I are going to jump on and do a basketball show. Going through the whole roster.
I've never heard it called the alert bell. I've never heard that.
Whatever you want to call it.
Hit the alert bell. Let's go.
What do you call it?
I think it's called the notification bell, but I like alert bell better. I'm just saying I didn't say I didn't
Bells
like it.
Alert
I'm saying
me.
I never heard it.
Bells alert me. They don't notify me. They alert me. So be alerted when content goes up. We're going to be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay button.
Thanks for listening and drive home safely.